reflect on our collective aspiration to build a secure, resilient, and sustainable economy while reinforcing India's position as a self-reliant economic powerhouse. Over the next 2 days, ladies and gentlemen, we have a power-packed series of sessions with union ministers, members of parliament, secretaries, and business leaders. The Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry is the largest and oldest business organization in India, founded in 1927. FICCI serves as the unified voice of thousands of Indian companies, from multinational giants to small enterprises, helping shape economic policy and foster public-private dialogue. With a presence that spans the length and breadth of India and connections across the globe, FICCI plays a vital role in promoting trade, innovation, and inclusive growth. We have on the stage the Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry, Shri Piyush Goyal, the President of FICCI, Mr. Harshavardhan Agarwal, Vice Chairman and MD Imami Limited, the President-elect, Mr. Anant Goenka, Vice Chairman RPG Group, the Vice President FICCI, Mr. Vijay Sankar, Chairman of the Sanmar Group, and the Director General FICCI, Ms. Jyoti Vij, who are already up on stage. So, as a round of applause and welcome, may I request you all to please put your hands together. We would like to, as part of our welcome to our guests, the President of FICCI to felicitate the Honorable Minister with a shawl and a special green certificate that we have. FICCI's tradition, ladies and gentlemen, of giving green certificates is a pledge to plant a grove of trees on your behalf, sir. May I request Mr. Harshavardhan Agarwal to please present this. 51 trees are being planted at Rambhumi, Ayodhya in your honor, sir. And this is a small step towards a greener, more responsible future and a token of appreciation for your presence here. I'd like to now invite the President of FICCI, Mr. Harshavardhan Agarwal, and also a second-generation leader from the Imami Group, serving as the Vice Chairman and Managing Director of the Imami Group. He's been recognized for his hands-on leadership, progressive mindset, and a focus on global brand building. I'd like to request him now to please give the welcome address.
Honorable Sri Piyush Goyal ji, Mr. Anand Goenka, Vijay Shankar, Jyoti Vij, present past presidents of FICCI, present excellencies, ambassadors and diplomats, members of the National Executive Committee meeting, industry friends, and friends from media. A very, very good morning to all of you. It is a privilege to welcome you all to the 90th Annual General Meeting of FICCI. The world around us is being shaped. Supply chains are shifting, technologies are being reinvented, and geopolitical alignments are being reconfigured. In this global reset, India stands not on the periphery but at the center of a historic opportunity. We are a $4 trillion economy today, To become a truly high-income nation, India must rise to nearly 30 trillion by 2047, lifting per capita income from about $2,700 today to above $18,000. And the question before us is no longer whether India will grow. India will most definitely grow. The real question is whether we can grow fast enough, boldly enough, and productively enough to seize this once-in-a-life century inflection point. This transformation will be anchored by 4 critical levers: the rise of globally competitive manufacturing supported by world-class infrastructure and exports, innovation and R&D at scale, the unlocking of our demographic strength through skilling, and an unwavering commitment to inclusive growth. Manufacturing, infrastructure, and exports form the backbone of every developed economy. In India, manufacturing contributes roughly 14% of our GDP today. By 2047, India's manufacturing output will need to expand nearly 15-fold and contribute close to a quarter of our GDP. That scale will only come when we move decisively up the value chain, building depth in components, materials, advanced engineering, and design-led manufacturing. The production-linked incentive schemes have triggered strong momentum. India is rapidly emerging as a significant hub for mobile phones, pharmaceuticals, electronics, defense systems, solar modules, and many things. But momentum alone does not equal transformation. For India to realize the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, we must deepen domestic value addition, build competitive capabilities in core components and advanced manufacturing, and deliver at quality levels that are benchmarked to the world's best. Complementing manufacturing infrastructure is the silent but decisive multiplier. India's logistic cost must fall towards the 7 to 8% of GDP, in line with the levels of advanced manufacturing economies. The Gati Shakti initiative, multi-modal logistic parks, modernized ports, industrial corridors, and digitized logistic systems are laying the foundation for a more competitive India. And exports must become the twin engine of growth. For India to lead, Made in India must stand globally for precision, reliability, and scale. Our government's efforts in strengthening India's trade architecture and driving high-ambition free trade agreements negotiations are opening up new markets and new opportunities. If I may take a moment here, I want to place on record our deep appreciation for Shri Piyush Goyal ji. Over the past year, as the president of FICCI, I have had a ringside view of his extraordinary commitment and relentless work ethics. Whether it is a leading complex FTA negotiation, resolving industry issues, or tirelessly championing India's economic interest across the world, Piyush ji has driven this agenda with remarkable clarity, energy, and purpose. He is a man of action, 24/7, 365 days, always in action. Indian industry deeply values your leadership, and we remain grateful for the vision and momentum you bring to India's export growth story. The second lever is innovation and R&D. India today invests about 0.6 to 0.7% of its GDP in R&D, far below the levels seen in developed economies. India must transition from being a cost-efficient economy to an innovation-efficient one. The government's establishment of the National Research Foundation and its push in semiconductors, AI, quantum computing, space, and biotechnology marks a profound shift. Industry must become the principal engine of R&D through corporate labs, university partnerships, deep tech ecosystems, and frontier research at scale. Our aspiration must be to move not only from Make in India to Design in India, but ultimately to Invent in India, to become a truly self-reliant Atmanirbhar Bharat. The third lever is our demographic advantage and the urgent need for skilling. India is the world's youngest major nation, but a demographic divided between becomes meaningfully only when it is productive. Today, only half of our graduates are employable, and just 2.3% of our workforce have received formal skilling. At the same time, industry demand for talent in semiconductors, electronics, EVs, robotics, cybersecurity, AI, healthcare, etc. is rising exponentially. To bridge this gap, India needs nothing short of a skilling revolution, one that is led by industry and powered by technology. The fourth lever is inclusive growth, anchored in women's empowerment and the upliftment of every social segment. Women's labor force participation has risen sharply from 23% in 17-18 to over 40% in 23-24. For India to be a developed economy, growth must be broad-based, equitable, and deeply human-centered. Before I conclude, I want to acknowledge the relentless effort of our FICCI Secretariat, the support from the past presidents, and the Presidium members, Anant, Vijay, Jyoti. As we approach our centenary, our collective resolve has never been stronger. World-scale manufacturing, bold innovation, empowered youth, and the full participation of women together, they form the very architecture of India's self-reliance. When these pillars stand strong, India does not merely grow, it leads with confidence and purpose. This is India's moment, our moment to accelerate, our moment to transform, our moment to build a truly Viksit Bharat. Jai Hind. Namaste.
Thank you very much, sir. As many of you may be aware, FICCI will celebrate its 100th anniversary in 2027, and we have a special commemorative logo designed for the year-long celebrations that will begin next year. I'd like to request the Honourable Minister to please unveil this special logo using the small little clicker that we have, sir, in front. You've got, yes. You can be seated and watch the screen in front. The FICCI logo symbolizes unity, continuity, and progress. 100 acts as a window into history, showcasing India's past and FICCI's achievements. The orange tone reflects warmth, resilience, and national pride, reinforcing FICCI's deep connect to India's journey. The logo, ladies and gentlemen, celebrates a century of impact and the promise of progress ahead. It is now an honor to welcome a leader whose clarity of purpose and conviction of action have shaped India's economic trajectory in remarkable ways. As India's Commerce and Industry Minister, Shri Piyush Goyal has been at the forefront of transforming India into a more competitive, confident, and future-ready economy. From driving record-breaking export growth to championing ease of doing business, to forging strategic global trade partnerships, he has consistently pushed boundaries to position India as a trusted engine of global commerce. May I now invite the Honourable Minister for Commerce and Industry, Shri Piyush Goyal, to address the 98th AGM of FICCI.
Namaskar, very good morning to all the distinguished participants at the 98th Annual General Meeting of FICCI. Congratulations, Mr. Harshvardhan Agrawal, for a wonderful year. You led from the front, youthful energy, full of zeal, innovative ideas, and I think I would count this as one of the years where I've enjoyed working with you and your team to work through a very, very important year in India's journey of growth. I wish you all the very best in your future endeavors. Remain connected, as are all our dear past presidents. My best wishes to you, Anant, for an opportunity that will hold you in very good stead. It's a great platform which will help you evolve in terms of people connect, in terms of a much wider macro vision for yourself, for the country. And I'm sure you'll do the work very, very honorably. Mr. Vijay Sankar, you'll have to now plan 2 years in Delhi. But I'm so delighted to see the youthful energy in the leadership team of FICCI that all these three young gentlemen present. Congratulations, well done, my best wishes. Ms. Jyoti Vij, all the distinguished past presidents, members of FICCI who have joined us today, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. Truly delighted to be amongst all of you to celebrate 98 years of an organization that is very, very symbolic of our own independence struggle, of our own industrial forays, and the last 98 years, the very important role that FICCI has played is truly etched in record books, as we just saw while we unveiled the 100-year logo of FICCI. It's an organization that has proud lineage, being founded at the behest of Mahatma Gandhi ji. And the theme that you have chosen today resonates perfectly with Mahatma Gandhi's vision, self-reliant economic powerhouse. I think that's truly something that we have learned through centuries in India as a very important theme of human existence. In fact, only 2 days back, on 26th, we were celebrating Constitution Day, Samvidhan Divas. In a way, that was the first declaration that India will stand on its own feet. We'll have our own constitution. We'll decide our own destiny, our own future, our own children's well-being will be built around a constitution which, to my mind, is the best constitution anywhere in the world. And that brings strength to the India story. It's a commitment of 140 crore people, 140 crore Indians, a commitment to our sovereignty, a commitment to our self-respect, a commitment to our self-reliance that will take this country to the next level. In fact, self-reliance is nothing new. It's been in Bharat's DNA ever since history presents its records, ever since. It's been in our civilizational fabric. If I may quote from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 5. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Lord Krishna says, one must elevate oneself by the self. Nobody else is going to come and tell you what's good for you, what you need to do. You yourself are the architect of your own destiny, of your own future. You know what's good or bad for you the best. Nobody else can come and teach you that. And if we have to elevate the country to the next level, we all have to do it. It's our collective energy that will take India to the next level. In fact, Gandhiji made Swadeshi the most important tool in his struggle for independence. It was Swadeshi and the focus on Atmanirbharta which brought the country together. And we've seen that under different leaders over the years. When Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee was in government, he took the bold decision to go nuclear as a self-defense tool for India. But that, to date, I think remains a very important lesson for all of us, that our national security has to be determined and under the control of ourselves. In fact, many other countries who did not go down the path of self-reliance in national security are facing a lot of stress today. In that same thread, Prime Minister Narendra Modi brought the vision of self-reliance through the concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat to the center of our economic progress, to the center of our thinking about what India will do. And today, Atmanirbhar Bharat has become a collective mission of all of us. Every Indian, in his own way, is contributing towards that vision, towards that journey. Modi ji had made a very telling comment once. There is only one medicine for 100 sorrows, and that is self-reliant India. We will face stress, we will have problems, we will have challenges come and go. How well we are prepared to face those challenges is going to determine our future, our success. If you see our own journey, maybe of the last 25 years, after the nuclear tests at Pokhran, we had sanctions, we had serious challenges before the nation. Nation progressed faster than ever before. From a growth rate of about 4% in 1998 that Vajpayee ji had inherited just before the Pokhran blasts, we grew the economy to over 8% growth. I think it was 8.4% in 2004. And he left behind a very strong economy, very strong fundamentals of the economy in 2004, which was even acknowledged by the then Finance Minister, Mr. Chidambaram, in his first budget speech, that he has a great platform on which he can build. History went the wrong way, that's unfortunate. And every other challenge that we have faced over the years, COVID did not deter India. We did face severe stress, but we came out honorably. We have grown ever since as the fastest growing large economy on the planet. And therefore, your theme of today resonates very deeply with our own ideology. Of course, I was seeing your logo. Orange seems to be the flavor of the day. Well, that orange was our original ideologue, Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, had also spoken very strongly about self-reliance. In his speech, where he very articulated the vision of integral humanism, which is a guiding principle for all of us today in government, he had said, and I quote, "Self-reliance isn't merely an economic principle. It is a principle that shapes the nation's character." And he had very well articulated that it is the holistic human being's development that truly matters, that will define India's journey of growth. Today, I heard Harshvardhan Agarwalji talk about several factors that are important in our journey in the Amrit Kal. Whether it's innovation, whether it's skilling, whether it's the involvement of women and youth. The My formula nowadays has become very famous, and the Mahila Youth formula, and leads to even political successes. In fact, there was a time when most people would think good economics doesn't make for good politics. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has changed this old thinking, this old paradigm, and proven that good economics can make for good politics also. And look at the advantages that we have. In innovation, we are most cost competitive. Our young demographic dividend, the young population of India, provides us the strength on the back of which we can truly imagine or truly plan for large-scale innovation in the country. Day before yesterday, we had the Swiss minister come to engage with us on how we can expand investments from Switzerland and the EFTA countries. I'm sure you're all aware that the four-nation EFTA bloc, as a part of the FTA, committed to invest $100 billion in FDI, which will largely be innovation, which will largely be precision manufacturing. But that innovation in India, which will be probably at 1/5 the cost they would do it in Switzerland or in Liechtenstein or in the US or in Europe, which will happen at 1/5 that cost, will also need a mindset change. Will also need all of us to be willing to get out of the old culture where we were stuck on thinking which was 30 years behind our times. I was just sharing with somebody the other day, probably we could have done our FTAs with UK and European Union and with this EFTA bloc 25 years ago, but for the fixation in our mind that we have to protect the auto industry and wines and spirits. And what were we protecting? We were protecting a mindset that was not futuristic in its thinking. That was very, very backward in its thinking. Competition always brings more efficiency, always brings more choice for the consumer. It helps us look at our competitive advantages and go forward for the good of the nation. Similarly, when we looked at different sectors of the economy, we realized that we still have a long way to go in terms of inculcating that spirit of inquiry in our youth. And I think if FICCI is taking this up as a mission, it'll really do India a lot of good. It'll really help spur growth, faster growth, greater investment in innovation, R&D. In fact, no nation has become a developed nation so far without significant investment and effort on research and development. And from the side of the government, we have come forward with several programs to support our startup ecosystem, the deep tech ecosystem, our innovation. And mind you, every rupee that we spend in innovation in India is equivalent to 5 or 7 in the Western world. So when government gives a $12 billion RDI fund, Research, Development and Innovation Fund, coupled with the private sector's own contribution to the research project, the strength of our academia and our science and technology graduates, we are looking at a maybe $150 billion R&D on a purchasing power parity basis coming out of India. But we'll have to have laws which will accept and encourage innovation in the country, which will protect scientific inventions, and which will guide people around the world to look at India as their destination for R&D and innovation. I liked your point about skilling, and we have a big advantage in skilling. Most of the developed world today has an aging population problem. With an aging population, there's one other problem, very much related, and that is a very mature mind which has got used to a certain way of working and thinking. To change that mind, to adapt emerging technologies and new way of working is not easy. I mean, we can all look into our own selves. Our children adopt technology, they are very fast on the uptake compared to us. And therefore, you will find in most developed countries, gradually a large number of people are getting into social welfare, are living off social welfare. They are not able to adapt to changing times, changing technologies. With a youthful population in India, connected to the net at a very young age, with 1 billion internet users, it's one of the greatest opportunity that we have in India to have smart kids connected to the net, digitally wise, looking at what's happening around the world, experimenting with new ideas, willing to learn newer way of working. We all know that ChatGPT, second largest user base in the world, is today in India. Second largest user base. If we use applied artificial intelligence in a smart manner, we can truly transform the youth of the nation to get them engaged with the most modern of technologies and skill them very quickly. Provide that manpower to the world and have a game-changing, a very impactful presence in the world of technology, in the world of tomorrow. I run a skill development center in my constituency in Mumbai. It's just 1 year old now. And it's a delight every time I visit there to see the enthusiasm of the young boys and girls in picking up some traditional vocations, but a lot of innovative and futuristic activities. Kindle has set up a center for skilling young women in cyber security. They are young women, young girls. Believe me, most of them are coming in from either the slums or very humble background. But they pick it up so fast, 4 months or so, and they are future ready. They are ready to be absorbed in a job at 5 or 6 lakh rupees a year. Immediately. With no great past experience, no great background in the family of high-tech work or high-tech activities. So that is an advantage if we leverage, and if FICCI takes this up as a mission, sets up skill development centers across the country in partnership with industry. The center also in Mumbai is run totally by industry. I have Blue Star there training people on refrigeration technologies. So gives them a pool of trained manpower who do installation, repairs, maintenance. I have ITC there training our young men and women into hospitality, a big area of the future. And the old age hospitality is not going to work in tomorrow. We need to be contemporary in all training that we are doing for our youngsters. And I think this can be a truly game-changing, and country's future depends on how well we skill our youth, how well we make our youth employable, help them to dream big, aspire big, and achieve big. And that advantage that we have in India should not be let go. We really need to leverage that. Friends, I was just thinking, how do I present the India story and why self-reliance will be at the core of the India story? We have all seen trade being weaponized. We have all seen the importance of having trusted partners around the world to work with countries who believe in fair trade and equal opportunity, both sides, which is why obviously we are working through a number of free trade agreements with developed nations. We've already concluded very robust pestle. When I was trying to understand why that word came about, I also went into the dictionary meaning, and I realized it resonates very well with me in some sense also, because I started my career in the steel industry. And pestle is a small round tool with a round end used for crushing food. You know, at home, dal kootte hain jaise. But it can also be used in industry. I think many of us in industry are familiar how graphite is made or how so many tools are made. Pestles will tell you the India story. P-E-S-T-L-E. P stands for our political situation, strong, decisive leadership, stable democracy, where the rule of law prevails, government policies focused on ease of doing business, reducing compliance burden, reducing paperwork, reducing interference of officials in your business life, in the common man's day-to-day life, policy to open up newer sectors to the private sector. Space was opened up, now nuclear energy has been opened up, defense has already been opened up. A government whose policies are business-friendly, people-friendly, progress-friendly and future-friendly. And apart from political stability, we've also been successful in our tax policies. Direct tax, we're comparable to the best at 25% corporate tax. 12 lakh rupees middle class, almost all out of the tax. Individuals with 12 lakh rupee income out of the tax net. You just saw the transformational GST reforms recently, and you just saw the labor reforms come out, the 4 labor codes. Collectively demonstrating a government proactive in its effort to ease regulations, yet have very robust regulatory frameworks. And therefore, political support or political enabling framework will always be important. And the people of India have not let us down. They have supported the good work Prime Minister Modi has done. Otherwise, in a day and age where governments rarely get a third term, you gave Prime Minister Modi the third opportunity to serve the country. And since then, Maharashtra, Haryana,
Delhi, Bihar, see the resounding results one after the other, which encourage us also.
to do more. ताली तो 2 हाथ से ही बजती है ना. हमारे को भी प्रोत्साहन मिलता है, हमें भी, हमारा भी उत्साहवर्धन होता है, हमारा भी हर्षवर्धन होता है. और हमें भी आनंद आता है, और उसी में से विजय होती है. And since I started my career with power, तभी ज्योति जलती है. The E after P stands for economic. the economic policies. Look at our growth, fastest growing large economy, expected to be the fastest growing for many years to come. Inflation, do I need to say more? The last 10 years, we've seen the lowest decadal inflation ever in our history since independence. And of course, this year would be a very, very low inflation number. Everybody's waiting for RBI to reflect on the current inflation numbers, I believe. Interest rates today are almost at the level we had them during the Vajpayee era. So we had high interest rates up to 98, came down drastically 99, 2000 to 2004, continuously fell, shot up like crazy from 4 to 14, and since 14 with a robust banking system in place, continuously on the decline, except in the post-COVID period where we had to control inflation through instruments of interest rate. Our unemployment rates are amongst the lowest we have ever seen. Most companies come and tell me, आदमी नहीं मिलते, कामगार नहीं मिलते, employees नहीं मिलते. Despite apparent stress in the apparel industry, the gentleman who started Tirupur came up to me the other day and said, I still need 30,000 more employees in Tirupur, if you can help me get them. Infrastructure companies, including the ones who built this, and I hope you like this place. How many of you have come here for the first time? Quite a few. I'd urge you to walk around, maybe see the Leaders Summit if it's empty. I don't know if something is going on over there, where the G20 was held, and get a feel of the place. It'll show you this is the new India. But they say they don't get workers. I used to monitor it every week. And the first question was, we need X number of people. How many worked in the project last week? And we never crossed 65, 70% of our requirement. Couldn't get workers. Lowest unemployment rate and strong macroeconomic fundamentals. Highest foreign exchange reserves we've seen in a long time. Banking system with less than 1% NPAs. Probably less than 0.5% net NPAs, I think. The S stands for the social fabric of the country. Our demography supports us. Young population, 28.5-year average age. India still strongly holds our cultural heritage, traditions, family value systems, which are very important for peace and harmony. Our consumer attitudes are becoming more and more modern. Lifestyles are changing. That also supports consumption story and growth. And education levels are going up. Similarly, the T, standing for technological prowess of the country. As you said, we are focused on innovation. We are focused on bringing in newer and newer contemporary technologies, automation, robotics. R&D will help us with emerging technologies. We've just come out with a policy to support rare earth processing so that we become self-reliant in that. And this impact of emerging technologies on products, goods, services will help the country grow faster in the years to come. L is the legal framework. We are proud to be a democracy. The rule of law prevails. And we are amending and changing laws to make them more contemporary, to get out of the colonial mindset. All laws made before 1947 are being changed to make them more relevant to today's times and prepare ourselves for the next 30, 40 years. So you'll see a lot of laws of the past, many obsolete, thrown out of the statute book, many being reformed, including the criminal laws, the Bhatia Nyaya Sahitas. You're seeing Jan Vishwas Bill 1 already done, 2 before Parliament. We are already preparing for Jan Vishwas Bill 3. That's the pace and speed at which legal reform. Who would have imagined virtual hearings in India? So people from London are appearing also in a court case in India. Hopefully that should reduce adjournment, speed up delivery of justice. Infrastructure has been upgraded for the legal delivery faster. Lok adalats and Jan adalats or settlement of cases through mediation and arbitration is being encouraged. Consumer rights today are being respected and honored. Competition rules are quite robust. Our regulatory framework in different, our RBI is better than the best in the world. SEBI, ADA, doing some fantastic work, recognized and respected world over. And lastly, environment. And with that, you could also link the energy self-sufficiency and energy plans. And clearly, India is one country focused on climate change, focused on sustainability. We recognize the importance and we'll all have to work collectively as a team so that India will be a global responsible citizen. Even though we are not responsible for the mess up there, our contribution to the carbon up there, barely 3.5%, despite supporting a 17% population. But we remain committed to our Paris goals, intended nationally determined goals. We remain committed to a better future for our children. And it's incumbent on all of us as a team to come up with ideas, to explore new ways. If I can just throw a thought, and if FICCI can take it up, construction, the way we do it today, is clearly a source of a lot of pollution at the local level. We'll have to, at least in the cities to begin with, move into precast construction or construction which is with material prepared outside and just put up. We can't have cement mixers running in cities. But does government have to mandate it? Not necessary. I did the costing also. I found it's not much costlier. You do it much faster. Probably save a lot of money on interest costs alone, and delays of construction are saved. But can we collectively resolve? Can all the big industry to begin with resolve? We will not do any construction which is not precast outside cities and towns. Small thing, but everything adds up. Can all the real estate players come together? And when the scale is there, the cost will further reduce. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of public participation. Because it's when all of us collectively make it our determined goal to solve this problem that we can really find resolution. And I think this framework, both our internal factors and external climate, can help us truly transform the future of India as we enter into the 99th year of FICCI. And I've suggested to the leadership, I spent about half an hour with them before I came here. I've suggested to them that they look at FICCI becoming a global organization, look at FICCI playing a more proactive role as India integrates its economy with the world, look at FICCI becoming a harbinger of new ideas, changing the mindset of India to prepare ourselves for the next century of FICCI, and take this up as a clarion call for the future. I'm sure that FICCI's contributions, which are many in its first century, will be many-fold bigger and bolder and transformational in its second century and their role in nation building will help us achieve transformational results in the journey towards Viksit Bharat 2047. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister, sir, for your invaluable direction, your clear guidance, and the many pointers that you continue to offer industry. Your leadership not only shapes policy, but also inspires progress, innovation, and confidence across the sector. I'd like to now call upon the President-elect FICCI and the Vice Chairman RPG Group, Mr. Anant Goenka, to please give thanks.
Honourable Minister, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of FICCI. Sir, you visited 5 countries only in the last 2 months, Qatar, Germany, Belgium, New Zealand, and Israel. And I didn't have the time to note down the 20 next countries that you mentioned in your speech, but your tireless energy truly inspires us and wants us to do better as industry. Friends, it's really a reminder that India's global engagement is in full throttle. And under your leadership, we are making our presence felt across every corner of the world. Your insights today on Atmanirbharta, on the importance of national security, the Mahila Youth Formula, lean innovation, that economic success can lead to political success, skilling, and the PESTEL framework really inspired confidence that we are on the right track towards a Viksit Bharat in 2047. As we begin our AGM, we reaffirm our commitment as FICCI to supporting the government's reform agenda, and we are committed to working with you in lockstep to make sure that we give priority to innovation, to skilling, ease of doing business, leveraging the various FTAs that you have been working on over the last few months. With your guidance, sir, the collective resolve of the Indian industry, we are confident that in the coming year, we will bring new opportunities, stronger partnerships, and ambitious outcomes. Thank you for gracing this occasion and for your continued support and guidance, sir. Thank you. A big hand.
I'd like to now request all the past presidents of FICCI who are present here to please join our Honourable Minister and guests on the dais for a group picture. Please remain seated, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be quickly moving into the next session. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. You've got the stalwarts of industry here. Thank you very much. Thank you to the Honourable Minister for gracing the occasion and sharing his thoughts. Please remain seated, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the Honourable Minister for Tourism and Culture joining us any minute now.
Sunday night.
Sir, I wanted one.
उसको तो बताया मुंबई से आया
Yes. Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. We are soon going to be joined by the Honourable Minister for Tourism and Culture. I'd like to just draw your attention to those of you who are not familiar with Hindi. Some of our guest speakers may be using Hindi in their speeches. We have a limited number of headsets available for our foreign guests who'd like to take one. Those of you who require a headset, we've got the usher here available with the headset. Please ensure that if you do collect one, you return it as well. Thank you.
In 1927, a group of industrial pioneers came together with a shared conviction that India's progress would be built on vision, enterprise and unity of purpose. From that conviction was born FICCI, the collective voice of Indian industry. Through the freedom struggle and every chapter of nation building since, FICCI has remained a trusted partner in shaping India's economic journey. For nearly a century, it has been more than an institution, a catalyst for progress and a bridge between policy and performance, between innovation and tradition, between India and the world. Today, as India stands tall on the global stage, FICCI's founding ethos finds new meaning: to build a nation that is self-reliant, inclusive and future-ready. A nation where every enterprise strengthens resilience, where innovation fuels opportunity, and where sustainable growth defines leadership. This year, FICCI's work has centered on 4 strategic pillars that power India's transformation into a self-reliant economic powerhouse. Make in India, sustainability, rural prosperity, and women-led development. Under Make in India, FICCI advanced the country's manufacturing competitiveness through the India Manufacturing Leadership Forum 2025, which brought together over 60 CEOs to chart pathways for global excellence. Inputs to Niti Aayog and DPIIT shaped the national manufacturing mission, while capability building visits to leading industries promoted operational
Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you to please refrain from moving about. We're moving into the next session. Please be seated.
helping them measure and cut carbon emissions, launched pilot projects, and championed a roadmap for public charging infrastructure 2030 to accelerate green mobility, circular economy collaborations, and public policy. Driving rural prosperity, FICCI's digital mechanization and skills initiative have onboarded more than 19,000 farmers onto the Krish-E platform and enabled thousands of rental partners to access modern equipment. At the core of women-led development, over 7 lakh women have been skilled through FICCI's nationwide campaign, supported by corporate partners. The Tech Equity digital platform is now engaging 4 lakh users. These 4 pillars together embody India's rise: manufacturing with excellence, growing responsibly, empowering its villages, and ensuring women lead the nation's progress. As we gather for FICCI's
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honourable Minister for Tourism and Culture. A round of applause, please, and welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, on stage now, Shri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, the Honourable Minister for Tourism and Culture, the President of FICCI, Mr. Harshavardhan Agrawal, Vice Chairman and MD Imami, Limited, the President-elect, Mr. Anant Goenka, Vice Chairman, RPG Group, and the Director General FICCI, Ms. Jyoti Vij, who are already up on stage. Mr. Vijay Shankar will join us in a few minutes. As part of our welcome to our guests, ladies and gentlemen, the President of FICCI is requested now to please present to the Honourable Minister a shawl and a special green certificate. FICCI's tradition of giving green certificates is a pledge to plant a grove of trees on your behalf. 51 trees are being planted at Rambhumi, Ayodhya, in your honour, sir. This is a small step towards a greener, more responsible future and a token of appreciation for your presence here. May I now request the President of FICCI, Mr. Harshvardhan Agarwal, to please welcome the Honourable Minister and guests.
Honorable Minister of Tourism and Culture, Sri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji. On the dais, Anant, Jyoti, past presidents of FICCI, members of National Executive Committee, industry leaders, friends from media, a very good morning to all of you. Honorable Minister, it is truly our privilege to welcome you today. Your presence reaffirms the deep partnership between the government and Indian industry in shaping a vibrant future for India's tourism and cultural economy. Under your visionary leadership, the ministry has taken remarkable strides from Swadesh Darshan 2 and Prasad to promoting community-led and sustainable tourism models. You have infused new ambition and purpose into the sector, aligning it with India's broader growth story. Few nations offer what India does, a living civilization, a cultural mosaic stretching from the Himalayas to Kanyakumari, from our deserts to our coasts. Every few miles, language, cuisine, and traditional change. Yet, the spirit of Atithi Devo Bhava remains constant. Tourism today contributes nearly 5.2% directly to India's GDP and supports over 84 million livelihoods across the country. With the right focus, this can become a $250 billion opportunity by 2030, creating more than 100 million jobs and making tourism one of the most powerful engines of inclusive growth. Every investment in tourism creates the highest employment multiplier among major sectors, touching lives in villages, small towns, and heritage cities alike. What is remarkable is the scale of opportunity before us. India is already home to 42 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, the 6th highest in the world. Yet we attract only 10 million international visitors a year. In contrast, France welcomes over 90 million, Spain 84, United States around 80. India, with all its diversity and civilization depth, currently attracts around 10 million, showing not a gap in potential but a vast opportunity waiting to be unlocked. But tourism is not only about destination, it is also about cultural exports and soft power. In every corner of the world, there is a part of India, an Indian community, a yoga studio, an Ayurvedic center, a restaurant serving Indian curry or masala dosa. Our diaspora of over 30 million Indians has become one of the greatest ambassadors of brand India. From Bollywood and classical dance to Indian fashion, designs, craft, yoga, and wellness, the world already loves what India creates. If we can connect our tourism promotion with our cultural exports, our art, cuisine, cinema, and spirituality, India can shape a global cultural movement of its own. Tourism, in that sense, becomes not only an economic engine, but also a powerful tool of soft power and national influence. one that shares the story of Bharat with the world. Our heritage is older than Europe's, our natural landscape as breathtaking as any in the world, and our spiritual traditions unmatched in depths. What we now need is to package, promote, and present India with the same intensity and innovation through world-class connectivity, digital interfaces, and powerful storytelling that connects emotionally with global travelers. Imagine an India where every tourist circuit, from the Buddhist trail to the Ramayana route, rivals the world's best cultural journeys. Where every visitor leaves not just with photographs but with a feeling of awe. That is the India we can build, where culture becomes commerce and tourism becomes a true pillar of Viksit Bharat 2047. At FICCI, we have long believed that tourism is not just about travel, it is about nation building. Through initiatives like Great India Travel Bazaar, National Tourism Investors Meet in India, and Wed in India, we have worked to bring government, industry, and investors together to unlock this immense potential. FICCI stands to partner with the ministry in this transformative effort. Together, we can ensure that every traveler who comes to India lives with one enduring thought: incredible India, unforgettable India. Thank you so much.
Shri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji embodies a rare blend of entrepreneurial spirit, inventive thinking, warmth, compassion, and boundless energy. As the Honourable Minister for Tourism and Culture, he carries both the responsibility and the opportunity to focus on infrastructure development, cultural heritage promotion, and leveraging the sector for economic growth. It is indeed a privilege and an honour to invite Shri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji to please address the august gathering.
अपनी बात शुरू करूं उससे पहले अभी जब अग्रवाल साहब बात कर रहे थे, इन्होंने एक विषय हम सब के बीच में रखा, वहां से अपनी बात शुरू करता हूं। एक कंपैरेटिव स्टैटिस्टिक्स इन्होंने रखा कि भारत में 1 करोड़ यात्री हर साल आते हैं, and whenever we compare with our peer competitors, maybe in Asia Pacific or in the world, आपने कहा 9 करोड़ यात्री फ्रांस में आते हैं, 90 मिलियन, 80 मिलियन इन यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स और 40 मिलियन इन थाईलैंड। लेकिन चाहे थाईलैंड में देख लीजिए, दुबई में देख लीजिए, फ्रांस में देख लीजिए, या एक्सेप्ट अमेरिका, दुनिया के किसी देश में उनके पास डोमेस्टिक टूरिज्म क्या है? अगर नैनालाल किदवई जी अगर घर से निकल करके वाराणसी दर्शन करने के लिए जाते हैं, वेदर यू कंसिडर हर एज ए टूरिस्ट और नॉट? इफ दोज नंबर्स आर बीइंग कंसिडर्ड, अकेले महाकाल में पिछले साल 8 करोड़ लोग दर्शन करने गए, अयोध्या में 8 करोड़ गए, काशी विश्वनाथ में 6 करोड़ गए, और पिछले साल कुंभ में 66 करोड़ गए। सारी दुनिया का टूरिस्ट मिला लो तो भी उससे कम होगा। इसलिए देखने की दृष्टि को हम सबको बदलना पड़ेगा। मुझे लगता है कि ये सबसे पहली आवश्यकता है टूरिज्म के लिए, और जिस दिन तक हम नहीं बदलेंगे तब तक हम भारत में टूरिज्म पोटेंशियल क्या है और कितना ग्रो किया है, वो हम कभी उसके बारे में उस ठीक से विचार नहीं कर पाएंगे। Members of the FICCI Presidium and the past presidents, excellencies, ambassadors, diplomats, distinguished captains of industry, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to all of you. It's both an honor and a privilege to address 98th Annual General Meeting of FICCI, an organization that for nearly a century has served as a lighthouse for Indian enterprise, a bridge between policy and performance, and a steadfast architect of our economic aspirations. Your work has not only shaped the trajectory of India's growth, but has continuously expanded the horizon of what our nation can imagine and achieve. I convey my deep appreciation for your commitment to India's developmental journey. Ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, allow me to underline a truth that is often acknowledged but insufficiently emphasized. Culture and tourism are not two parallel tracks. They are inseparable pillars of a single value chain. Culture preserves the memory of civilization, and tourism animates the memory into experience, enterprise, and economic value. India, being blessed with a civilizational inheritance stretching over 5 millennia, stands at a unique vantage point. Our tangible heritage, temples, forts, monasteries, stepwells, archaeological sites, and our intangible riches, languages, literature, music, craft, cuisine, and festivals, combine to form one of the world's greatest reservoirs of cultural capital. It's upon this foundation that we must build a globally competitive tourism economy, one that's resilient, that is future-ready, technologically advanced, and deeply aligned with India's aspirations as a rising global power. The global tourism ecosystem today contributes nearly 10% of the world's GDP, supporting over 320 million jobs, as noted by the WTTC. Tourism has emerged not only as a leisure sector, but as a structural engine of economic revitalization, investment flow, youth employment, women's empowerment, and cross-cultural understanding. In India, tourism is the economic backbone of several states, most notably the northeastern region, where it sustains livelihood, encourages entrepreneurship, and supports women-led community enterprise. The multiplier effect of tourism is unmatched. Every hotel built, every guided experience created, every heritage site restored generates a cascade of opportunities across MSMEs, local artisans, logistics, transports, food and beverage, skilling, and digital services. Recognizing this profound potential, Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has elevated tourism to the national growth strategy, placing it alongside tradition, talent, trade, and technology as a pillar of India's march towards becoming a $30 trillion economy by 2047, with tourism contributing no less than 10% of GDP of a Viksit Bharat. This vision springs from a deep civilizational ethos, Vikas bhi or Virasat bhi, where development and heritage progress together, strengthening both national prosperity and cultural stewardship. No tourism strategy succeeds without infrastructure, not merely physical, but digital and service infrastructure as well. In the last decade, India has undergone nothing short of an infrastructural renaissance. Operational airports expanded from fewer than 75 to now 127. The total number of airports is much, much higher. With a vision of 350 operational airports by 2047, new greenfield airports, regional connectivity through Udan scheme, and world-class terminals have opened the country like never before. 10 international standard cruise terminals are transforming coastal tourism. 150,000 kilometers new highways have been created. New generation railway infrastructure have been created in our country. 38 inland waterways have been designed for river cruises, linking culture, commerce, and connectivity. Over 10,000 kilometers of metro lines across 23 Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities ensures seamless multimodal movement. Expressways, economic corridors, and high-speed Vande Bharat trains have placed most major pilgrim and tourism sites within convenient reach. The rejuvenation of temple corridors, Kashi, Mahakal, Kedarnath, Puri, Ayodhya, is one of the most transformative tourism initiatives in modern India. These investments have redefined how the world experiences India's spiritual geography. With rupees 12,000 plus crore invested in destination development, India has undertaken one of the largest tourism infrastructure programs in the world for inclusive, accessible, and sustainable visitor experience. We are now engineering a structural shift by developing 50 global standard destinations under the challenge mode framework, encouraging states to compete on quality of infrastructure, visitor experience, sustainability parameters, and future readiness. This approach harnesses competitive federalism, industry partnerships, and community engagements, ensuring that India's best destinations match for surpass the world's finest. To complement this ambition, we are actively considering harmonized infrastructure status for the hotel industry, a long-standing demand that will unlock capital, expand rooms, inventory, and strengthen our global price competitiveness. One of the most remarkable achievements of India's governance model has been the creation of digital public infrastructure, stack unmatched globally. DigiLocker for secure paperless travel, Digi Yatra enabling frictionless airport movement, UPI which has made India the world's fastest growing digital payment ecosystem, e-visas which have simplified travel permissions with trust, transparency, and efficiency. Incredible India 2.0 launched in 2024 integrates online travel aggregators for single window access to verified and curated travel informations, creating an ecosystem that is both citizen-friendly and also industry-friendly. This is not reform for its own sake. This is India's placing itself at the frontier of global tourism technology. Ladies and gentlemen, India is emerging as a world leader in Ayush-based wellness, medical value travel, and integrative healing pathways. Through partnerships with hospitals, MVT operators, and global insurance networks, we are creating a seamless ecosystem that respects ethical standards and enhances visitor trust. India witnessed a historic surge in concert tourism, reflecting a vibrant youth economy. With Gujarat awarded the 2030 Commonwealth Games, sports tourism will experience a major upswing. Meet in India is now a global proposition, supported by the Bharat Mandapam, where we are today, and Yashobhumi, GeoWorld in Mumbai, and many more across the country, the world's largest convention facilities now we have in our country. The global MICE sector is worth over $900 billion, and India is determined to claim a large share of this market. The Union Budget 2025 strengthened our focus on green tourism, digital transformation, MSME enablement, youth and community skilling, and destination management. The Kashi model of guide training has become a national template for structured capacity building. Meanwhile, GST 2.0 standards as a major consumer-friendly reform that enhances competitiveness and ease of doing business, especially crucial for travel, hospitality, and events. Ladies and gentlemen, India's G20 presidency placed tourism at the heart of global discourse. The Goa roadmap on tech-enabled tourism, clean and green travel, sustainability through travel for life,
and global best practices. It has gained recognition as a benchmark of
collaborative global action. Our dashboard of global best practices is being applauded by member nations for its ability to democratize knowledge, share innovations, and inspire reforms worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, policy can set direction. Infrastructure can lay the foundation. Technology can ease the journey. But the true transformation of tourism will be led by the industry. India needs bold private investment, reimagined hospitality models, innovative experiential tourism products, globally benchmarked service excellence, and deep community linkages. Government has provided the enabling environment. Now it is industry's movement to lead, shape, and elevate India's tourism brand globally. Let us imagine an India where every destination is a benchmark of excellence, every journey is seamless, safe, and sustainable, every community benefits from tourism, every visitor becomes an ambassador of India, having experienced different places in India, and every cultural asset is preserved with scientific rigor and pride. Let us envision a nation where tourism becomes a $1 trillion sector, generating millions of jobs, catalyzing MSMEs, empowering women, and positioning India as one of the world's most respected tourism powers. This is not an aspiration alone. It is a commitment, a shared national commitment shaped by government, industry, and communities together. As India steps forward towards a century of independence, let us ensure that our cultural legacy becomes a global bridge, our tourism industry becomes an engine of prosperity, and our civilizational story becomes a compelling invitation to the world. Together, let us craft a future where India, ancient and eternal, modern and dynamic, stands as one of the world's most admired destinations for culture, tourism, wellness, MICE, and human connections. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mr. Minister, sir, for your steadfast guidance, your encouragement to the industry, and the direction you continue to provide as we collectively strive to elevate India's standing as a global tourism hub. May I now call upon the President-elect, FICCI, and the Vice Chairman, RPG Group, Mr. Anant Goenka, to please give thanks.
Honorable Minister, it's my privilege to thank you on behalf of FICCI for gracing our 98th AGM and sharing your views. Your vision to position India as a world-class, sustainable, experience-rich destination has brought renewed energy and ambition to the sector. In addition to the various points that you shared, initiatives such as Swadesh Darshan 2.0 focused on sustainable and community-led development, and Prashad, which is pilgrimage rejuvenation and spiritual heritage augmentation drive, which strengthens pilgrimage and heritage circuits, are creating high-quality tourism assets across the country. The emphasis on safety, cleanliness, responsible tourism, and seamless travel reflects the ministry's commitment to global standards and visitor experience. Tourism is emerging as a strong driver for economic growth, for job creation, entrepreneurship, and cultural preservation. FICCI remains committed to working closely with the ministry to build a competitive, inclusive, and globally admired tourism ecosystem. Once again, Honorable Minister, thank you for your time, your presence, and your continued support and guidance to FICCI and the Indian industry. Thank you.
I'd like to now request all the past presidents of FICCI present here to please join the Honourable Minister and guests on the dais for a photograph. Past presidents, please join the Honourable Minister. Coming, they're coming.